Hello, everybody. A very warm welcome to you all and to our panelists today. My name is Tony Rinaudo, and I'm very excited to be the moderator for this webinar, FMNR Around the World. Firstly, just a few housekeeping points. Please mute your mics when you're not speaking. And if you could turn off your cameras for those with weaker internet, that'll help their connectivity. This session will be recorded, and the recording and other resources will be shared with you after the session. And finally, after the panelists speak, there'll be a short Q&A session. So I just urge you, if you have any questions, please pop them into the Q&A function, and please upvote the questions that you want answered. So before we go to the panelists, I'll just give a little bit of an overview. In 1983, in the West African country of Niger Republic, I came to understand that there's this vast underground forest beneath many degraded lands around the world. And the forest consists of living tree stumps, roots, and seeds with this enormous capacity to regenerate rapidly if given a chance. And now, if you fast forward some 40 years, that revelation has become a global movement. And you can see some exciting statistics there on the screen. Today, some 49 countries, FMNR is practiced in some 49 countries, up from just 7 in 2010. In World Vision programs around the world, there are more than 1.6 million hectares of land under protection and restoration through the use of FMNR, through an approach we called regreening communities, and or through sustainable agricultural practices. And this last statistic really gets me. It's taken, I think, just from the last 3 years, nearly 143,000 people have been trained as FMNR trainers. Just think of that for a moment. 143,000 people out there equipped to teach and reach others with this incredible message. More than 17,000 organizations are partnering in one form or another in this scaling of FMNR around the world. 17,000. So from being a lone voice in the wilderness to 7 countries in 2010 to now some 17,000 organizations promoting FMNR. So we're really in a wonderful period of history. Given this exponential growth, last year World Vision Australia identified a significant gap, and we saw a need for more champions who could speak to the media, to governments and donors and the general public. And so we developed a mentoring or champion program, firstly to equip passionate individuals to confidently promote FMNR, leveraging their knowledge, influence, and their passion to drive meaningful change. And it's just so important to have fresh voices from the field, sharing eyewitness accounts and providing quantitative evidence of the impact of FMNR. Our champions have become local focal points, leading and inspiring the next generation of FMNR actors who will in turn take FMNR further and faster to new heights than what I ever could have done alone. So it's very exciting for me to be a part of this. My hope is that you will be inspired by tonight's presentations, that you will gain insights on ways of influencing the scaling of FMNR, and that you'll gain an appreciation for the power of even a single individual to fuel the flames of this incredible movement. So I'm very proud to give the floor to our 5 champions. They will be our panelists today. We've been so impressed and blessed, really, to be working closely with them for some 8 months now. And these global champions are dedicated, they're passionate, they're certainly proactive, and all are very, very effective in promoting FMNR. So our first panelist is Dr. Carol Munini, and Dr. Carol is the FMNR scaling lead in Kenya. And there's so many things I could say about all the panelists, but I have to restrict myself because of time. But one of the many characteristics that has impressed me is that she's a strategic thinker. And she has given us great insight into the importance of institutional change in order to make FMNR sustainable for future generations. So over to you, and thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Tony. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, our listeners and participants. As Tony has mentioned, I'm an ecosystems health expert, and I'm also an FMNR champion. I'm also a systems change advocate because I believe in things being long-term, not just short-term. I have been a researcher for the longest time, but I also have extensive experience working with communities. But my heart is seriously in mentoring, children. And so today, I'll take us through a systems change success story from Kenya. If you could move to the next slide, please. Thank you. And I'll be talking about a situation where FMNR, although being proved, it's already proven as a low cost, as a restoration approach that has worked over the years in many countries, as Tony has alluded. It is globally missing in most countries, and it remains largely, absent in the formal education systems. And in a short period, I'll be saying why talk about the education system. Most of FMNR knowledge, the practice, passing of that knowledge is majorly zeroed in projects and also short-term trainings, workshops, which makes it limited and shorter. And without integration in the long-term or in the systematic curriculum in our education systems, the long-term behavioral change remains limited. And that means all the practitioners that are graduating, that are completing their education, all the leaders, all the policymakers that we are having, eventually they will complete their education cycles without exposure to this approach that has worked. Kenya, I always tell people, is majorly a dry country. It is 80% arid and semi-arid, and we need systems that work. We have tried tree planting as a nation, and it has failed us. But we still have these areas that are bare. The whole of northern belt Kenya and part of the eastern part of Kenya, it has extreme levels of degradation. We need to get a solution that has been proven to work. Moving to the next slide, I want to talk to why does education matter? Education is a whole system, and it's a powerful tool. It shapes the attitudes and behaviors of human beings, and especially when they are young minds, they are trained in a certain way, and when they grow up, they will not shift from that direction that has been shown to them. Education is a system that creates knowledge, but also replicates knowledge, and especially through research. When Tony began or saw the impact of FMNR in Niger, the impact of FMNR was rarely known, but today there is strong evidence, and that has been generated through education, that knowledge on how is the impact. A lot of policies, like right now in Kenya, we have counties, especially the arid counties, coming up with standalone FMNR policies because they know the importance of that. So it influences policies and practices. But most important, the intergenerational knowledge transfer. Young minds are educated, and in future, that information is transferred to other minds that are joining the system because it is a continuous system. And that means after that knowledge remains long after projects are gone and individuals have moved on. Moving on, in Kenya, we are proud to share the influence of education systems at multiple levels. And we started with the basic, actually we started with the tertiary education, one university here, one institution there. But then we realized that alone will not get us far. We need to look at this system and think through it and see how can we tackle the whole system, right from basic education, supporting the teachers and the learning systems, but also the higher education and the research institutions. But most importantly, generating knowledge that would sustain these levels of education. And so at basic education level, we were able to generate, if you could move to the next slide, please. We were able to generate resources for junior and senior school in Kenya. And these resources, if you could scan the QR codes that are there, they are digital contents that are developed through or in collaboration with the national government, the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. That is the body that's mandated to generate curriculum in Kenya for primary schools, for junior schools, and for senior schools. And with these resources, the concepts of restoration are introduced early to these young learners. We also have building the environmental stewardship. Children knowing, if I see a tree generating there without planting it, it is as important as a tree that I have planted myself. So that knowledge is important. And of course, equipping the learners with the practical restoration skills. Moving at the higher level, at the universities and tertiary institutions, we realized having MOUs and collaborations with the universities was a working system, but it will take us a very long time before reaching over 47 institutions that we have in the country that are offering environment and agriculture-related courses. And so we came up with an FMNR scale-up in research and learning strategy. And these can be adopted by the various institutions and adapted according to their context. All the research and learning institutions that we have in Kenya. And then finally, we have the primary where we have video podcast because we realized that technology and online systems can really reach wider people, especially when we celebrate the achievements of what has been happening in all these institutions. That is just a snapshot of what students and learners, young learners are doing in their schools, the eco clubs. Now that is the informal kind of education. The eco clubs, the young farmers clubs, and we have, if you could move to the next slide, we have celebrations showing students or other learners and their patrons, having their time, not just to talk about the tree planting, but to talk about FMNR with their learners. Teachers are using environmental training times to talk about the Farmer Managed Natural Regeneration within class work hours. We also having all these celebrations that are happening and students recognizing, FMNR, I would say, benefits when they see it. And so as I end, I will leave us with the sustainability principle that education system will outlive us. And by embedding FMNR into education, we ensure restoration knowledge continues to be transferred, adapted, and scaled for generations to come. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Carol. And I've just seen so many examples where children actually lead the movement in their own family or in their own communities, and the benefits will be reaped in the years to come when they take positions in various institutions and in business and so on. Thanks so much, Carol. Our next panelist is Ventia Sabathini, Area Program Manager of Southwest Sumba, Indonesia. One of the many qualities that have impressed me about Venti is her passion for children, that no child should go to bed hungry, that every child should have easy access to plentiful, clean water, and every child should have the opportunity to reach their potential. Ventia sees FMNR as a critical intervention to help achieve these aims. And I'm so glad to have a voice from an Asian country. A lot of people think, oh, FMNR is just an African thing because most of the examples come from there. But Ventia clearly demonstrates that the principles apply across the board. Over to you, Ventia.
Thank you, Tony, for the introduction. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. All right. So, greetings, everyone. I'm Venti from Sumba Island. So, now today, I would like to take you on a journey across the Indian Ocean, from Africa all the way to Sumba Island, Indonesia. Can we do that? Of course we can, yeah. Next slide, please. Sumba is widely known for its breathtaking landscapes, white sandy beaches, vast savanna, and rich cultural tradition. You might think, what is the relevance of FMNR in a place like this? Everything seems very fine. Well, actually, not so much. Next slide, please. Every year, uncontrolled field burning occurs across many parts of the island. As you can see in the picture here, very few roots left to hold the soil together. And during a heavy rain, the soil being washed away, leaving behind a very thin topsoil or even unexposed rocks. Now combine this with a prolonged dry season. The water runoff become very severe during the rainy months, and over time, the land has lost its ability to retain water, causing natural springs to diminish or disappear altogether. Next slide, please. And this environmental degradation placed a heavy burden on families, like that of Mr. Haing, the picture here. His wife and children had to spend 2 hours every morning and another 2 hours every afternoon collecting water. His children become increasingly vulnerable. They walk very long distances under harsh conditions, exhaust their energy, increasing their risk of illnesses, and quite often they miss schools because they're still down the hill collecting waters. But Mr. Haing did not accept this as his family future. He wanted to change the fate of his children and the future of his village. Then he learned about FMNR. Next slide, please. How do we do it? First thing first, Mr. Haing and his friends established a demonstration plot where they could test the approach, see the results for themselves, and also learn to practice practical restoration techniques. And after their confidence grew, they expand to their own land, where it gives the family a stronger sense of ownership, because now they can access the benefit directly. The second key ingredient, why it works, is that we are using a familiar language, using a farmer to farmer approach. In Indonesia, we don't name it, we don't call it FMNR. We call it palotang. They're more familiar with that. And when we say palotang, it gives them a sense of understanding that it goes beyond just pruning the trees, but it is more on protecting their environment where their life depends on it. Next slide, please. So they began to construct a water retention pits to capture rainwater, reduce runoff, and help recharge downstream springs. And if you can see in the picture there, to strengthen the structure and to increase the tree cover, they also planted the tree cuttings around that structure, around that pits. And entertain me here a bit. Where do you think they get the cuttings from? Of course, the dam plot. Of course, on their FMNR in the fields. Now you see the full circle here. So it is more than just pruning the trees, but the ability to use that tool to protect their future. As the result, you can see in the next slide, the water become available more consistently throughout the year. Mr. Haing and his friend even built a water tank out of it, putting pump and bring the water all the way up to their homes. So his children and other children in their village no longer have to spend hours walking to collect water. And do you know what amazed me most? That story about walking the steep road every day, spending 4 hours a day to fetch water. That feeling of tiredness, that body malaise, feeling weakness after a long walk, that skipping of class is now part of their history. It's already behind them. What used to be a 4 hours work a day is now just 5 minutes. You see the contrast here? Just from pruning the trees, protecting the environment, it really saved them a lot of energy. It really improves their child well-being. Next slide, please. Today, protecting the environment is a way of living in that village. Burning is no longer allowed because community understand that their well-being and their future depends on healthy land and reliable water sources. At the heart of this story are children. The future of our children depends on the actions we take today. And that is why FMNR matters in Asia, in Africa, everywhere around the globe. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Ventia. And I had the privilege of seeing this region before FMNR started, and it really it was worse than a moonscape. Burnt every year, the topsoil washed off, and it was just a plateau of rock. And to see these forests coming back is astounding. Thank you. Our third panelist is Martha Atukunda, National FMNR Evidence and Learning Specialist, World Vision Uganda. And as well as all of our champions, Martha has applied the learnings of the Champions program almost immediately. This is one of the surprising things that happened during this course. And she's gone on to participate in international forums, to speak to donors, produce promotional material, and to influence not only the project that she works in, but the broader World Vision Uganda team and the partners that they work with. So over to you, Martha.
Thank you, Tony, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone, depending on where you are. My name is Martha Atukunda, just like Tony has mentioned, and I'm very glad to be a champion for FMNR, to speak about why FMNR matters and why we need to reach out to as many people as possible with this gospel of FMNR. I'll be sharing with you about why partnerships for FMNR scale up are really important and why we need to consider them. When we work together, our impact grows beyond just one organization, and we'll be able to achieve much more. Next slide. Partnerships matter for greater impact and reach of FMNR at scale. When we work with different partners and we bring them on board, we are able to showcase the impact of FMNR at a large scale and reach as many communities, as many children, as many youths as possible with this information. And most importantly, the communities that are in need of restoration, that are in need of improving their communities. When we work together, we are able to strengthen technical capacity for FMNR adoption. And this is why different partners have different technical capacities. You have a policymaker who knows how to work with the law. You have the farmers who will do the actual implementation of FMNR. You have the children who will be the ones to bring the next generation and talk about FMNR and will be able to share that gospel. And then you have the teachers, you have the faith institutions, the cultural institutions. They are influencers in the community. When we work with them, they're able to propel FMNR at a very fast pace. And advocacy for FMNR, we cannot do it as one organization or as a few of us. We must be able to work together as a team, and then you'll be able to influence for policy at a national level, even at the global level. We have seen that when we bring partnerships together, we are able to bring the reach, because it's very important to track the scale of FMNR and how it is scaling up, the resources, the knowledge, the influence, and the ownership needed to transform FMNR from just isolated success stories into nationwide restoration and resilience outcomes. We have to be able to show the contribution of FMNR at a greater impact. And different partners, I've come to learn, they come up with different innovations. The way FMNR is implemented in Uganda you will find that even across the different regions, it is implemented differently. And when we bring these different partners together, we are able to learn from each other and be able to innovate. But the most important one is on the evidence base for FMNR. Many of us, I know even today on this webinar, we are implementing FMNR. But it is important that we are able to bring that evidence base together, collate it together, and be able to showcase the impact of FMNR as organizations and as people that are interested in seeing that our future is well protected. Next slide. I'll be sharing with you how we have been able to do it in Uganda. We have put together the FMNR network of Uganda. The FMNR network is a loose coalition of multi-stakeholder organizations aimed at scaling up FMNR in Uganda. And as of today, we have more than 100 registered members. By members, I mean NGOs, community-based organizations, farmer groups, faith-based actors, technical partners, and some individuals who are willing to scale up FMNR. And we have worked with the network in a structured way. And this is why all these things I've talked about, we cannot collect evidence. We cannot share our technical capacity if each one of us is working individually. But in the network, it is a structured engagement. We have a central steering committee. And then this has also, we have the regional nodes which manage the different partners in each of the different regions. And as of today, we have 7 regional nodes here in Uganda for the FMNR network. So then there is a coordination function that is done by a selected host institution. And this is very important because then we know which organization is implementing in which area, also to avoid duplication of work in the communities that we work with, but also we are able to collate and showcase the impact of FMNR. We do different activities together, celebrate different days together, technical capacity building. You'll find that we are able to offer technical capacity building in how to implement FMNR, how we move about, and this is really powerful that we have an FMNR movement growing in Uganda. Next slide. You'll see on the photo to the left, we were celebrating the World Food Day, and we're able to come together and share. What makes the network valuable? We have a shared vision and alignment. All the members have joined because they are interested in FMNR. They want to scale up FMNR to the different communities they work in. But we are able to learn and share knowledge. Peer learning has proved to be one of those most successful ways of passing on knowledge. To have these different organizations, we are able to expose them. When we have new members join, we are able to take them to the different sites we have with our champions. And champion stories, like we have seen how Ventia has just shared, they are powerful and they influence a movement. When we take them there, they're able to learn how to implement FMNR, how should they track, what should they look out for. And we have also had joint advocacy. So all these 100, imagine 100 organizations coming together and putting a position paper. Recently, we had FMNR embedded into the National Agroforestry Policy of Uganda, and it was done by the FMNR Steering Committee. So it means even if World Vision is not there, the FMNR network will outlive us and will have many members continuously share with us. And the coordination function is very important in collective monitoring, documentation, and publication of FMNR success across the country. If you can even be able to just check, we have a website, you can check FMNR Network Uganda, you will be able to see the different stories that have been put together, the different newsletters, and this is very important for growing a sustainable and trackable and supportive FMNR movement. For FMNR to scale sustainably, we must ensure that all stakeholders are meaningfully and effectively engaged. Collaboration for FMNR ensures that we are building a future where not just us as organizations, but people, the communities we work with, they thrive well with nature and ecosystems are well restored. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Martha. That's wonderful. I had the privilege of being present in 2012 when the Uganda FMNR National Network was established. Uganda is the first country in the world to create such an organization. And today, the scaling movement and World Vision's partners are both benefiting from that network and building on it. Thanks so much, Martha. Our next panelist is Alemayehu Markos, FMNR Catalyst Project Manager, World Vision Ethiopia. Alemayehu has a wonderful vision for FMNR to have a nationwide impact in Ethiopia, and his personal vision is to be a global voice for FMNR. His team has also created a very large network of NGOs, government agencies, individuals in quite a short time, and they're just running with this concept. Alemayehu is deeply committed to scaling and works at every level, from the individual in the community level right up to the top level in government. Thanks, Alemayehu. Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Tony. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, wherever you are. It's my privilege to speak here. My name is Alemayehu Markos. I'm leading FMNR movement at World Vision International Ethiopia. So today, I am happy to share the contribution of FMNR champions for FMNR scale-up, especially in Ethiopia, through addressing who is the champions, how we have been selecting champions for contributing FMNR scale-up, and what are the key roles and the drives they are contributing for the national level scale-up. Then also I will show you, go through some case stories from out of more than 100 champions plus here in Ethiopia. I will show you 2 examples, especially from the local community and also one from the national experts. Then finally, I will summarize with the impact the champions bring to the Ethiopian FMNR movement. Next step. Okay. I think most of you are eager to know about who is the champions. So champions are those trusted community members who have successfully contributing for FMNR adoption and also became the advocates for the national level restoration activities. And those are farmers, they are community and faith leaders, and also development practitioners that directly engage through the FMNR intervention and motivating different experts or farmers to be engaged in the FMNR movement. Beside that, the champions are the government experts, including the development agent and high-level professionals, and also it includes the environmental advocates for the national-wide movement. Besides, the champions are the local agents, and they are volunteers and highly inspired with and mobilized with to restore for the degraded landscape. In our context in Ethiopia, we have more than 54 million degraded landscape. So those champions are very inspired to restore, to renew those degraded landscape. And beside that, the champions are the catalyst for scaling restoration and community transformation here in Ethiopia. Next. So in order to select these champions as a national-wide and operational area, we put clear selection criteria to bring them at the front and also contributing for the national-wide adoption of FMNR and also the national-wide movement, especially considering their demonstrating the FMNR practice and bringing the result towards the community. It's one of the criteria to select the champions. Also, we consider the national level promotion or local level promotion and the advocacy engagement of the champions. Besides to that, they are role models, especially in terms of leading in their community, and they are also very influential toward this. And those champions are those trusted community members in their vicinity, beyond that, we will also consider their innovation. They will have different innovation mechanism to reach and also address the challenges of the community, and also they have been bringing the livelihood impact towards the community, and also they will allocate, those champions are the one allocating the resource and also closely working with the partnership building, and they have fully documentation and the knowledge sharing, especially in their vicinity and at the national level. They have full documentation. These are some of the key criteria. While we are selecting the champions, we will consider all those criteria. So champions will be recognized due to their impact, due to their leadership and their commitment for scaling of widen restoration. Next. So they have key roles, especially in terms of driving for the restoration, also the national wide movement. Champions are key role, especially demonstrating their successful practices, FMNR, practically and also theoretically providing and awareing at the national level. They are trainers and also they are mentors for the farmers and the communities as well. They are highly raising awareness and promotes the national wide or community or regional level adaptation. Besides, they are facilitating the knowledge sharing and also creating strong collaboration. They are also very advocate in the community leaders and the government through closely working. So champions are the one transforming the FMNR from the individual practice into the national wide and the community level movement. Next. So we have role model champions, especially from the northern part of Ethiopia. His name is Gebre Xavier. I'm very inspired to share these stories, how Gebre Xavier is contributing for the regional level and the national wide FMNR scaling up. He's 70 years old and he's living in the village called Tanuk Militia in the Tigray region. He's a father of 8 and he's very dedicated person for the environment steward, and he's currently under restoration around his total hectare, 2.5 hectares, including his farmland, and he's managing more than 469 trees, representing with different 17 native species. And besides that, he's very inspired with Tony's story. He didn't meet Tony physically, but he heard about the Tony's story, and he is aspiring to become Tony the second of the Tigray or Ethiopia. So he's leading exemplary for how the local farmers can restore degraded landscape and conserving biodiversity and inspiring the wide adoption of FMNR. His key message is restoring land begins with restoring belief, especially in his vicinity and at the regional level in the Tigray. Next. Through his movement, he brings a lot of things towards to the community and as well as his livelihood. So he restored degraded land through the FMNR, especially farmland. As you can see from the picture, he is regular basis teaching his vicinity on FMNR, the importance of FMNR. The Tigray region is highly located in the lowland area and the dry area. So the FMNR is one of the best options to the community. So he is advocating and awareing, even using the churches, more than 12 churches, through the regular basis setting of the schedule with the pastor and the church leaders in order to reach widen community. Besides to that, he has been using, every weekend to teach about FMNR. Through that movement, he reached more than 3,000 people around his vicinity, and he mentored farmers. He promotes environment stewardship, and for his family, he generates income from the tree and fruit. And also he's supporting the child well-being and education. So he's saying or putting a message, learning today, tomorrow, always learning. He's learning from time to time. Very inspiring quote from Gebre Xavier from Tigray. Then our next national-wide the champions, especially from Minister of Education, is Dr. Daniel. He has a background of education from agriculture, his PhD, MSc, and BSS as well. He has been, I met him especially while we are the first time delivering the TOT training on FMNR for the experts at the national level. I tried to reach him to get his inspiration, because he has a background on agriculture. He has also aspiration toward the environment. So he has been telling about his future plan and what he is going to contribute. So we had been closely working with him, and he is one of the roadmap for us to bring a widened system change in Ethiopian education system, especially incorporating FMNR to the higher education curriculum and also the secondary, primary, and the middle in Ethiopia. So he promotes FMNR through education and capacity building. He equipped students with a practical FMNR skill and the knowledge. He inspired users become environmental steward and restoration leaders. So his key quote is, by equipping students, we can hand this on FMNR skill, education, transform the next generation into proactive land steward capable for restoring degraded ecosystem. Next. So as I mentioned, the key achievement he is one of the roadmap, but we get a lot of champions from the Ministry of Education at the national level that highly contributing us for changing the educational system to incorporate FMNR and also awareing the generation on the diverse effect of land degradation. So we had been achieving incorporating FMNR to the school, university curriculum. More than 25 universities are incorporated FMNR as a course chapter and also at the topic level. When we incorporate FMNR in the middle, primary, and the secondary school as a supplementary material and environmental and protection school crafts, and we are promoting FMNR through policy brief, especially that are encouraging the whole universities at the national level to incorporate FMNR in the education system. And we will have an expert who is talking about FMNR for the next generation, and the practitioner who is talking about the land degradation with a comprehensive, with a national level proven approaches. So the impact is strengths youth engagement and restoration, building long-term capacity for sustainable management. So embedding FMNR in education and policy ensure long-term restoration knowledge and practice and impact. Next. So generally, the impact of the champions is very important toward this accelerating the FMNR adoption and scaling, restoring degraded landscape, and also highly contributing for improved ecosystem resilience. This is, it seems a simple word, but the champions, what we observe from the ground truth from the field is that when champions are contributing and mobilizing a widened community, it is achievable. And also there are stronger community ownership enhancing partnership and collaboration. So local leadership is a powerful drive for large-scale restoration. So I will show you some of the impact, how those champions across their vicinity are contributing towards household income enhancement, child nutrition. As you can see, they are delivering a lot of things, including the local market chain towards providing at the national level and also contributing for the communal and also the individual farm level through organizing the cooperative and as an individual. So my final message, all of you, especially for donors, please join us this movement, support us this movement. Also those for well-visioned international staffs or the experts and the leaders, please, FMNR is whatever you can based on the contexts, it will be efficient and also it will work in the diverse ecological context. Thank you very much. Back to you, Tony.
Thanks so much, Alemayehu. The hardest thing about this webinar is that each panelist could share for the whole session, but we have to keep moving. Our final panelist is Jyde Hamoonga, National FMNR Scaling Lead for World Vision Zambia. And Jyde's enthusiasm is infectious and he brings so much joy to the work. He's a natural communicator, and he has the ability to encourage and to draw people into the FMNR movement. Now, unfortunately for us, but happily for Madagascar, where Jyde is at the moment in a remote area, we don't have him in person, but we've pulled together some short video clips that Briar's going to put up on the screen now. Just a little bit of representation of what Jyde does. Thanks, Briar.
My name is Jyde Hamoonga from Zambia in Southern Africa. I work under World Vision Zambia. Initially, I started working as a policy influencing and communication specialist under the Sustainable Land Restoration Project, SLAR project. But since March this year, I've transitioned to become the FMNR scaling lead here in Zambia. So my journey with FMNR started in 2022 when the SLAR project started working, and I've been working a lot in community engagements, setting up demo sites and also FMNR sites, but working with communities to make sure that we plant the seed for FMNR, see the trees grow, and then let the communities get the maximum benefits from FMNR.
Recent years, Zambia has faced severe land degradation caused by climate change, deforestation, drought, and unsustainable land use. Farmlands have depleted, dams have dried up, the damage continues. Without real-time data, responding to these climate challenges has been a challenge, but that is changing. To tackle this crisis, World Vision Zambia, through the Farmer Managed Natural Regeneration approach, partnered with space technology company Rinaudo Space in a youth-led forest change monitoring technology project, an initiative born from an innovation challenge. Armed with satellite imaging tools, local youths are stepping up as digital guardians of the forest. Through training, these young climate champions are turning satellite images into powerful stories, sparking conversations, challenging traditional norms, and guiding communities towards smarter land use. Now, youth aren't just witnessing climate change, they are leading the charge to stop it.
Climate change affects us as children through drought, hunger, and land degradation. But we're choosing action instead of fear. On the FMNR site, we are protecting trees and teaching people about the benefits of having trees. World Vision Zambia is helping children to become environmental champions in our community. The future depends on what we do today.
Being part of the FMNR Club, it has taught me that nature can be recovered if we protect it. Every week, we visit our FMNR site to care for young trees and monitor them. It makes me proud to see our school becoming greener. Children are not too small to make a huge difference. Together, let us restore the forest, restore the planet, and build a brighter future for all children.
Thanks so much, and apologies again that Jyde couldn't be with us in person. The future depends on what we do today, and just love hearing that coming from young people. Unfortunately, our time's quickly coming to an end. I think we have time for just one question, which I've forwarded to Martha, and we'll do our best to answer the other questions in writing and send them out to everyone so that nobody misses out. But Martha, could you please read your question and give a very short answer? Thank you. Have we still got Martha? Yes.
Yes, I'm still here. Thank you, Tony. And I see this question from Gonzaga. It reads, in our country, the government have existing programs in restoring the environment, for example, assisted natural regeneration. The government is very active in distributing seedlings to the communities. Is there a specific approach on how we can integrate FMNR any specific example on this because it is hard to promote a project that is not aligned with the government. And thank you so much for this question. Reminds me of when we were introducing one of our regreening projects, and in a stakeholder engagement, the person whom in Uganda is the LC5 chairperson, who is the head of the district, the political wing. When we talked about FMNR, he stood up and said, World Vision, you are not being serious right now because you don't want to invest money to distribute seedlings. You just want people to go and start taking care of seedlings that have sprouted by themselves. So you can imagine how that meeting went. And I'll just implore you, these are some of the ways that you can do it. One, you need to do proper engagement with the government. There's a lot of evidence that has been documented that shows the impact of FMNR and how it has worked. Look for an area that is within your region and then be able to showcase that and give them proper evidence on how it has been done. And as well, if you can, as a project, you can set up a demonstration site. Set up a site that is showing FMNR and what it has done and document that process really well so that you are able to showcase the impact at the end of the day and the evidence of that and how it has supported the communities. The other one is let the community speak up. Community testimonies are powerful. So in all these engagements, while you're engaging with the government, ensure that you have the community, the champions, whoever you're working with, they'll be able to share how cost effective is it for them to plant trees. Yeah, we know it's not very cost effective and it's a hectic approach. So if they are doing all this distribution, then how is the cost benefit with FMNR? How cheap is it? How low cost is it? How scalable is it? Use those principles of FMNR to share with the government institutions. And I believe once you have interacted with them really well, they'll be able to appreciate it. And just convince them to just let you have 1 or 2 demonstration sites set up, and then they will be able to see and monitor it and see the impact of that. But as well, we have a lot of materials on the FMNR Hub on how we can have different models. For example, the assisted natural regeneration that you're talking about, how we can integrate it into FMNR. So if you can go to the FMNR Hub, I know it will be shared in the chat. You can find a lot of materials on how to do that. Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks so much, Martha. Sorry to keep it short. And as you said, there's just so much information on the FMNR Hub, and we'll have a link to that in one of the coming slides. Thank you, Martha. Next slide, please, Briar. Just to inform you that we're planning 2 upcoming webinars, one on FMNR and food security, based on a meta review of FMNR projects. That'll be sometime in September, and Youth Innovation and FMNR in November. We'll forward you the dates once we've fixed them and give you more information on those webinars. Please make yourself aware of this website if you're not familiar with it. The information is free. You'll find many resources here: manuals, online training courses, videos, blogs, research findings. I can't speak about it enough. It's a major source of information for anybody not familiar with FMNR, and for people who are already steeped in FMNR. Please use this as a resource. And then finally, final slide. Just wish to thank you all. I thank our champion speakers. You've inspired us with your passion, and you've taught us from your first-hand experience. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of our attendants, and a very special thank you to our donors and partners. Thank you to the broader FMNR network, and to everyone who helped make this session possible. And especially, I've got a shout out to Briar Black, without whom it simply wouldn't have happened. Thanks so much, Briar. And wherever you are, have a good day, a good evening. Thank you all.